Charleston's slave markets handled thousands of transactions yearly. But only once did auctioneers refuse to sell a man without written warnings. A document preserved until 1987 describes a 28-year-old field hand whose previous 3 owners had all died under mysterious circumstances. What made him dangerous wasn't violence or rebellion. It was something authorities couldn't name. Something that made hardened slave traders cross themselves and mutter about judgment. 7 men bid on him. Only 1 completed the purchase. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, because stories like this, the ones they tried to bury, are what the forgotten liturgy is all about. Drop a comment with your state. I want to know how far these mysteries are reaching. March 14, 1843. Ryan's, Mart, Charleston. The auction catalog listed him as subject 41. Male, estimated 28 years. Origin, Virginia. But the clerk had added red ink notation. Special conditions apply. See manager before bidding. Thomas Yancey, 46, owner of Belmont Plantations, 4,000 acres, watched from the back. When lot 18 was called, 2 handlers brought the man onto the platform, keeping unusual distance. The slave stood motionless, hands shackled, face completely blank. Most men on auction platforms showed something. Fear, resignation, anger. This man showed nothing. His eyes moved across the crowd with mild interest, like watching clouds drift past. Special terms apply, the auctioneer announced. All interested bidders must consult Manager Talbot first. 3 men went to the manager's office. 2 returned shaking their heads, the 3rd looking pale. None resumed bidding. 1 caught Yancey's eye. Don't do it, Thomas. Whatever price they name, it's not worth it. Yancey went to Talbot's office. The manager pulled out a folder. His first owner was Harrison Kemp, tobacco planter in Virginia. Bought him in 1838. 14 months later, Kemp was found dead, heart failure at 43. But 3 days before, Kemp became convinced slaves were plotting against him. Conducted interrogations, increased punishments, searched for conspiracy evidence. This slave answered every question calmly, never showed fear. After each interrogation, Kemp seemed more agitated, more convinced of threats. The overseer said it was like watching Kemp argue with his own thoughts. Talbot continued. Second owner, Virgil Stowe, lasted 11 months, then hanged himself. His family found letters describing dreams he couldn't escape, certainties about disasters that never happened. Same pattern. Stowe focused attention on this slave, and the more attention he paid, the worse he became. Stopped sleeping, stopped eating, talked to himself about dangers that made no sense. Third owner, merchant named Dobbins, 6 weeks. Then stroke at 37. Business partners noted erratic behavior, paranoid decisions before his death. Talbot showed Yancey a letter with 1 paragraph, underlined 3 times. 3 owners, 3 deaths, 3 periods of escalating paranoia. If this is coincidence, it is the darkest I've witnessed in 20 years of legal practice. His name is Isaac, Talbot said. Excellent worker, never defiant, never causes trouble. If you didn't know his history, you'd think you found the perfect purchase. But if anything strange happens, document it. Previous owners kept concerns to themselves until it was too late. Yancey raised his hand at auction. $500. Silence. Every head turned. The gavel fell. Sold to Mr. Thomas. Isaac arrived at Belmont, still shackled, still emotionless. Yancey assigned him to Marcus, his lead driver. Watch him. I want to know everything. First week passed uneventfully. Marcus reported Isaac worked harder than most, never complained, but kept completely to himself. A man that quiet is either broken or thinking thoughts he doesn't want seen. I don't think Isaac's broken. Broken men look through you. Isaac looks at you, sees you, just doesn't react. By week 2, Yancey found himself thinking about Isaac constantly, watching fields from his window, lying awake wondering what thoughts moved behind that blank face. Week 3 brought the first incident. 2 field hands fought. Both claimed Isaac's watching had made them jumpy, irritable. Yancey moved Isaac to a different crew. The problems followed. New workers reported tension, unease, nervousness around Isaac's silence. Week 4 brought nightmares. Yancey dreamed of standing in his fields, workers, pantomiming labor, all staring at something behind him. He'd turn to see Isaac watching with that blank expression, and suddenly understand that everything was wrong. Danger surrounded him. He'd wake gasping. The dreams became nightly. During days, he lost focus, drifted to vague worries he couldn't articulate. His wife noticed. His overseer asked if he was feeling well. Yancey began journaling. Early entries. Factual, brief. By late April, they changed. Another night of dreams. Certainty of threat without source. Hands shaking. Found myself reading same page repeatedly without comprehension. When I saw Isaac, felt absolute certainty he was waiting for something. Cannot say what, but the certainty was absolute. An enslaved man named Samuel told the overseer. Masters spend every day afraid of us. Afraid we'll rebel, run, poison food, burn houses. You live in fear and call it caution. Then someone comes who doesn't threaten nothing, just exists in silence. Suddenly you handled it because he makes you see your own fear that has been there all along. May 10th, Yancey announced he was selling Isaac to a Savannah trader for $300, a $200 loss after just 2 months. Marcus confronted him. "You're afraid? In all the years I've known you, I've never seen you afraid of anything." "Maybe the threat isn't what he does," Marcus said quietly. "Maybe it's what we do to ourselves when afraid of what he might do." May 17th, Trader Rufus Tade bought Isaac. Yancey slept peacefully for 3 nights. On day 4, a letter arrived from Tate, handwriting barely legible. "I am returning Isaac at no charge. I cannot keep him." First night, I woke, convinced someone broke in. Searched everywhere, found nothing, couldn't shake the certainty. Second night, didn't sleep at all. Saw disaster scenarios constantly. This morning, other slaves were huddled away from Isaac. They said he stared at the wall all night, not sleeping, like being locked with something that only looked human. I understood what you were afraid of. It's not what he does. It's what happens to us when we try to understand what he is. Whatever's wrong with this man spreads like disease. Isaac returned. Yancey ordered him locked in the isolation shed, a windowless building used for punishment. That night, Yancey wrote. May 23rd. 73 days. 3 people report severe anxiety in his presence. Is this man causing these effects, or are we causing them because of knowledge of his history? I cannot sell him again. Cannot keep him isolated indefinitely. Cannot integrate him back. What options remain? 3 days later, Yancey overheard Samuel speaking. That man is showing y'all what you already are. Isaac doesn't do nothing, doesn't threaten nothing. He makes you see your own fear. That's not Isaac's doing. That's you doing it to yourself. The realization hit Yancey with devastating clarity. Isaac hadn't threatened anyone. He'd simply existed with perfect silence, perfect emptiness. In that void, every observer poured their own fears. Previous owners had convinced themselves of conspiracies and threats until their own imaginations killed them. Isaac was a mirror reflecting the paranoia that already existed in every plantation owner's mind. But if 3 men died looking into that mirror, what did it reveal about slavery itself? About the fear that underscored every moment of plantation life? That night, Yancey walked to the isolation shed and confronted Isaac directly. The man who owned you before died. The trader couldn't bear to keep you. I've spent 3 months descending into irrational fears. Did you do something to us? Isaac's flat voice. I worked for Mr. Kemp. I answered questions. I followed instructions. When he died, I was sold. Same for Mr. Stowe. Same for Mr. Dobbins. I work for you. I answer questions. This is all I have done, sir. But you see the pattern. Everyone who owns you becomes frightened. I see that men who own other men are often frightened. I see that some cannot live with what frightens them. What causes their fear, I cannot say. I only know it is not caused by anything I do. Then why are you different? For the first time, something flickered across Isaac's face. I stopped pretending, sir. I stopped performing the role. Masters want. I stopped showing fear to make them feel powerful. Stopped showing gratitude to make them feel generous. Stopped showing hope to make them feel merciful. I stopped, all of it. I just work and exist. Nothing more. Apparently, that is the most dangerous thing a slave can do. The words struck like physical blows. You're saying this is deliberate. I'm choosing to be honest, sir. To stop lying with my face about what this life is. If that honesty frightens people, perhaps it's because they need the lie to feel comfortable with the truth. Yancey understood. Isaac hadn't done anything. He'd simply refused to perform the emotional labor that made slavery bearable for masters. The constant reassurance that the system was natural, beneficial. Without that performance, masters faced raw reality, owning humans who had no choice but to comply, building wealth on forced labor, living with people who had every reason to hate them. That reality was unbearable. 3 men died rather than face it. June 8th, 1843. Yancey summoned his lawyer and instructed him to draw up manumission papers. On June 11th, assigned, team providing Isaac $20 in freedom. Under South Carolina law, Isaac had 90 days to leave the state. Yancey released him personally. You're free. Yes, sir. I don't know what you are. I don't know if you did something to us, or if we did it to ourselves. But I can't live with not knowing, so I'm ending it. The only way I can. Isaac studied him with empty eyes. Thank you for my freedom, sir. May I ask one question? Do you think you'll sleep better now? The question cut deeper than any accusation. Isaac turned and walked down the plantation road toward Charleston. The nightmare stopped that night. Within a month, Yancey felt almost himself again. Though something fundamental had shifted, he found himself questioning things he'd never questioned. Why did slaves avoid his gaze? What thoughts moved behind their careful expressions? How much fear did they carry? Marcus told the overseer. Maybe Isaac wasn't dangerous at all. Maybe he was just the first completely honest thing any of us had seen. No performance, just silence. We could unhandle it because it made us see everything we'd been pretending not to notice. Records show Isaac appeared in Charleston on June 15, purchased passage to Boston as Isaac Freedman. That's the last definitive documentation. But scattered, unverified reports suggest his story continued in 1847. A Philadelphia newspaper mentioned a free black man accused of causing psychological distress to his employer through disturbing silence, dismissed with extra wages. In 1851, the Liberator described a New York freedman whose silence troubled employers. This man's crime is his refusal to reassure us with his manner. We claim to want free black citizens, but when faced with one who won't perform gratitude, we find ourselves uncomfortable. Thomas Yancey lived until 1869. In 1862, as the Confederacy crumbled, he wrote, I freed one man and saw clearly for the first time the prison ID built for myself. Isaac's danger was his refusal to pretend. He revealed the terror at the heart of the system. It depends entirely on performance. Maintaining the illusion of naturalness, remove that performance, and the whole structure becomes visible in its cruelty. 3 men died looking at that truth. I nearly became the 4th. Now our whole society is dying. Enslaved people are walking away, refusing to work, demanding freedom. They have stopped pretending, just as Isaac stopped pretending. And without that pretense, the whole edifice collapses. The isolation shed still stands today as a historic site. Tour guides tell sanitized versions, framing it as curious footnote rather than indictment of slavery's psychological machinery. But the question remains, was Isaac dangerous, or did he simply show people the danger they already carried? Did he cause 3 deaths, and nearly a 4th? Or did he reflect back the fear and paranoia that slavery created in everyone it touched? Was his silence a weapon, or was it simply honesty in a system built on lies? Maybe Isaac S. greatest act was asking a question that couldn't be answered without admitting truths antebellum society couldn't afford to acknowledge. That slavery made monsters of masters. That fear was the foundation, that the performances enslaved people were forced to give were the only things preventing owners from seeing themselves clearly. This mystery shows us that sometimes the most dangerous person in a room is the one who refuses to pretend everything is normal. What do you think? Did Isaac cause the fears, or were people confronting their own darkness? Leave your comment below. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to the Forgotten Liturgy, hit that notification bell, and share with someone who loves stories that make us question what we think we know. See you in the next video.